G'day, welcome to the Nerdy Dad channel and the Nerdy Dad review of the final episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Before we get into detail, I'm going to give my overall impressions. Thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm going thumbs up. My overall impression is positive. But there are some things that just have me scratching my head. Parts of the episode just don't sit right with me. And some of that's impacting how I think about the season as a whole. I've said at the top of every review of this series, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was directed by Deborah Chow. Now, before I start talking about the spoilery detail of the episode, here is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to be spoiled, come back and watch this after you've watched the episode. How the hell does time and distance work in Star Wars? This is bugging me. Maybe more than it should do. And I've been asking that question since I first saw Empire Strikes Back. And all fiction hand waves away time and distance somewhat when the plot needs it to. But still, the two plots of this episode, the time and distance thing feels particularly egregious, and it's bugging me. The Path are still being chased by the Imperial Destroyer, and Reva just popped up on Tatooine. Sure. How did she leave Jabim? Well, she must have found a ship somewhere. How did she recover so fast from her injury? Look, I say this because surely, if that transport had been targeted by a Star Destroyer for more than minutes, it would have been destroyed, right? Either that or Star Destroyers just aren't that intimidating and powerful. So, within minutes, she's recovered from a mortal wound, finds a ship, pops up in a marketplace on Tatooine. This isn't the only thing that bugged me about the episode. But I did say, overall, I liked the episode, and I did. This is one of those cases where it's easy for me to find and poke at things that didn't work, and say, I didn't like that, I didn't like that, I didn't like that. But still, I overall liked the show. Look, sometimes the opposite's true, where you go, I like this, I like this, I like this, and this is the type of thing I should like, but I don't and I can't put my finger on why. This time, I can poke and go, I don't like, I don't like, I don't like, but I still like the show. Look, one thing I do absolutely love about the episode is the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader. That worked. For me, this really, really worked. In fact, I think everything between Obi-Wan and Vader in this series worked. Yes, they did go back to the well and do the half Vader, half Anakin thing from the duel between Vader and Ahsoka in Rebels. But a lot of people don't watch the animated shows, so it's a first for them. And it's still effective. It shows the duality of the character. Although what Vader is showing to Obi-Wan is that there is no duality to the character. That there is no Anakin. Obi-Wan didn't kill Anakin. Vader did. It's so good. And then there's this. Unfortunately, I did not love the end of Reva's arc anywhere near as much. Aside from the time passing, or lack of it, that I discussed earlier, I just didn't like the way the arc panned out. Last week, I said that I thought her learning about Luke sealed her fate, and I really think it should have. But, that aside, this is a series called Kenobi, and the conclusion of her arc was not tied to Kenobi's story at all. He was there after the fact. But WTF, she hates Vader, hates him. She's killed who knows how many people over the years, including children. And then she freezes on Vader's son? Okay. She also didn't kill Owen and Beru when they got in her way. Sure. Look, as we knew that Owen, Beru and Luke could not die, there was no drama to the scene other than how do they get out of it? And the answer is she chose not to kill them. That's it. Reva's turn was too quick for me. Or at least just not well executed. I didn't like it. To be fair, all the elements were there. We knew she was a scared little girl who didn't grow past the trauma of what happened in her childhood. We knew Kenobi somewhat got through to her last week in a limited capacity. And having her break the opposite way to Anakin when faced with a somewhat similar choice should have been a nice touch. But to me it fell flat. And then fairly or unfairly, me not liking the end of her arc makes me question the whole arc, its necessity to the plot and to Kenobi's story. Could have they devoted that time to furthering a story that did work, which was Vader and Kenobi? I don't know. The episode ends with the obligatory Leia is safe on Alderaan, Luke meets Obi-Wan, and of course, Liam Neeson returns as Qui-Gon Jinn. Looking back on the series as a whole, my feelings on the series are pretty similar to my feelings on the finale. There were things that I didn't like, but overall I enjoyed the series. The series was at its best when it drilled into Obi-Wan and Vader, which, given the series is called Obi-Wan, is, pretty essential. And with that, this is the Nerdy Dad, signing off.